What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NBA DFS video. This is for Sunday. It is March 17th. We are back. There's 7 total games for the day, but there's 4 games on this main slate. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit shorter slate. We're still going to cover it. We're going to look at it. If you've been here before, you know the drill. If you've never been here before, we're going to go over the Vegas odds. Then we're going to look at the depth charts a little bit, plays that we like. And then at the end, we are going to build a lineup. Now, in the past, I've been building with the NBA Points Allowed By tool, but I kind of want to maybe build a lineup via DVP. So we'll do the thing here, and then after we go through each game, I will then give my top 5 players at each position, and then we will build a DVP lineup. We'll see how it is. Again, this is one way to do it, not the only way to do it. If you have ideas of ways to build lineups, let us know. We're trying to make you a better DFS player. But as always, we are trying to have giveaways. So 2 ways to win. The first way, like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. If we get at least 50 likes on the video and you leave a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of DFS content brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. If the video gets 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month. 125 likes, a chance to win a free year. 150 or more likes, we have a chance to win a lifetime pass worth $500. The second way to do it, you can win 2 times a day. Like the video, be a subscriber, and tell me what player is going to score the most amount of DraftKings fantasy points and how many fantasy points will they score. If you get it closest without going over, Price is Right rules, you will win a free week. If you get it exactly correct, which we have not had yet, we were very close. We had one that was 0.25 off. You will win a free year worth $199. Speaking of the free year, if you go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com right now, you sign up for FTA Plus, you get, you click on the yearly pass, use the promo code MLBVIP, all one word, all capital letters. You're going to get a yearly pass for $75. So on the screen is today's article, which you can check out. Usually when there's at least 5 games on the slate, we have 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value, but we don't have 5 games. So we just have players we like and the DVP on it. And it's just a good way to start, kind of a visual to see the colors. We've also partnered with DFS Hero. So you've heard me say it before if you've been here before, but anyone who signs up with the link description the link in the description of this YouTube video or on our channel right here, you will get 15% off. If it's your first time signing up and depositing, you will get 15% off your first one. And if you sign up for a month, and we will get an email when you sign up, we will give you a free month of FTA Plus. If you sign up for the yearly pass, we will give you a free year of FTA Plus as well. So you sign up, you're going to get a 5-day trial, and then if you keep it and you actually let the membership start for a month, we will give you a free month. For the year, we will give you a free year. So if you do it and you only do the 5-day free trial and then you cancel, there won't be any incentive for you for FTA Plus. So I just want to bring that to your attention. In the description is today's article. It's the link to DFS Hero. It's our Discord link. I want to get in there. I want to have a productive MLB season. So we got a week and a half to go before MLB season starts, and I want it to be a very popping community. So if you have not already, go join it in the description. So that being said, like we talked about, we have 4 games on the slate. Currently, Boston versus Washington. Boston's a massive favorite of minus 1429. We've got, so that's money line. Let's check out the spread right now. So we got 4 games that we're not, or 3 games we're not, but they have Boston as a 17-point favorite. This is my problem. So we have 4 games on the slate. This will be a day where I don't make very many lineups. I might not play much at all. You've got them as a 17-point favorite. So if they go up huge, they're going to sit all their starters. So this is where you got to kind of find value for Boston players, because it should be a massive blowout. Toronto versus Orlando. Orlando's a 10.5-point favorite. Brooklyn, San Antonio. San Antonio's a favorite by 1. And then we got the Clippers versus Atlanta. Clippers being a 12.5-point favorite. So 3 of the 4 games on the main slate are potential blowouts. And that That's not my favorite. These are what it's opened. Toronto, Orlando. Orlando's actually moved from minus 10.5 to 12. So this will be one of those days where I'm going to say play lightly, just because, like, let's say you go Jason Tatum, then they go up huge in the second quarter, and then he doesn't play the second half of the game, or that's just an instance, or someone from the Clippers goes off, and then they Paul George sits or Kawhi sits, whatever it is. I don't like this day. I don't. We're still going to cover it. We're still going to look at it. We're still going to give you as much information as we possibly can. But I've never seen this many blowouts in one day, let alone a day that there's 4 games on the main slate. So that being said, we're going to look at it. We're still going to talk about it. But kind of just looking, you can see like Derek White is out for Boston. So you're going to have to dig in a little bit. This is where FantasyTeamAdvisors.com comes into play, where we have our Vegas odds, our sports bets, our simulations, the player trends, the fantasy points allowed by position tool, the chalk, the top plays, and stuff like that. So a lot of information will be had over on the website. We're going to give you as much as we can here, but we are trying to make you a better DFS player. So go check out all of the other stuff. But we are looking at the games. Boston versus Washington. Again, we've got, Tyus Jones is already out. Derek White is out. So we look at this. Just look at it. Tatum's questionable. Jaylen Brown. Let's see if they are going to play. Questionable. I mean, there's literally no reason to play any of their starters in a game where they should absolutely just bash Washington. And if they're questionable, they are at the top. They're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NBA right now. I could see all their big names sitting, and then obviously the blowout wouldn't be as huge. But yeah, you're looking at him. You're looking at Jaylen Brown being questionable. So he could miss his second start out of 3 games here. And even if he comes in, we could get screwed. But we got screwed by this dude right here. He was a late scratch for Saturday with a right knee contusion. It was after it locked, and he was already in right before tip-off. That's what screwed us. Corey Kispert jumps up to me as one of the top value play on this slate, so I do like that, especially in this game. So you guys know the big names that we would be suggesting out here. You know, the Jason Tatum, the Kuzma, the Brown, stuff like that. But finding value is what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at Corey Kispert, especially getting some value. Played 27 minutes on. He just should see some exposure here, and could be in store. But again, watch out, because second game of back-to-back Washington players, they might be lower on the totem pool there. But with all these players possibly it being out, or it's in fact a blowout and the starters are sitting for Boston, we're going to see a jump in like a Corey Kispert or Bilal or Sam Hauser for Boston, or Raquan Holmes or Peyton Pritchard. These are the guys you're looking for. Luke Cornett could have a big game, just dependent on if this is actually a blowout. So these are all ones that I'm looking at for value. Again, 4-game slate. You got to get creative with some of your lineups. So those guys are all in play for me. Obviously, the bigger guys are in play as well. We are seeing that. But questionable tags, depending on when you watch this throughout the day. See if it has changed throughout the day. And don't forget, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. It is Sunday. We have NASCAR. Go check it out. Our lineups have been killing it. We have NASCAR. We have the optimal lineups. We have the cheat sheet. We have the bacon station. Go check it out. So we got Toronto at Orlando. Another one that should be a blowout. I love Bonchero. I love Emmanuel Quickly. Wagner, Olenek, Gary Trent. Like, we know these. Ones that we've been using lately. Bruce Brown, I don't mind. Wendell Carter Jr., hopefully he plays some minutes. The problem with his minutes, they're pretty good. They've leveled out. He was getting like 22, and it kind of scared us, but that was when he came back from injury. And, look, 3+, 30+ fantasy point games in a row. Just played this team on the 2 days ago, got 30 fantasy points at 5,700. It's exactly what we need. Again, if you've been here before, you're playing cash. You basically are looking at 7.5 times value. So Your target should be every single player getting 7.5 times value at the minimum. You're not always going to get that, obviously, but we will find that. Jalen Suggs for tournament, Grady Dick for tournament, Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac. He's been killing it. He got 10 times value. Or who am I thinking of? Was it not Jonathan Isaac? It was. They have jumped his price up though. His price has gone up there. I don't know about Jonathan Isaac being at that price, but you could always find something. Abaji. Yeah, the minutes really haven't been there. So those are just some of the players. You could go Markelle Fultz if you want to go down a little bit lower. This is Jalen McDaniels. His minutes have kind of been there. Yeah, I mean, if this is a blowout, as what they're possibly thinking, we could see a Jalen McDaniels at 3,600. He could go off for 8, 9, 9.5 times value and be very under-owned. I bet he's under 5% owned, even on a 4-game slate. So Jalen McDaniels is a very valuable option here at 3,600 that you could be looking at. Freeman Liberty, we've been looking at him. He's been very disappointing. If I'm paying down this far, I'd probably rather go with McDaniels than him being $100 change. We've got Brooklyn versus San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama. I love Wemby here. I've got him projected as my highest over-under or highest rated player right now. They dropped his price a little bit. Doesn't have the best matchup for DVP, but he is there. So we kind of look at this. Wemby. I love Wemby here. Devin Vassell, Bridges, Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton. You guys know all these guys. But we're looking for those value. Dorian Finney-Smith for tournaments, I don't mind. Malachi Branham. Obviously, love him better when he's not. See, you can see with Wemby being back, he has not been serviceable. Has not been serviceable since basically the 7th of March, where he went 35.25 fantasy points at 4,200. Now he's 4,400, but this is a close game. So if this game stays close, Wemby plays the whole time. I don't think Branham makes sense at all. Day'Ron Sharp. Not really. Yeah, Lonnie Walker the fourth. I don't think he's done much lately. Yeah, he hasn't done much either. So it's basically down to Zach Collins and up. I'm probably avoiding Branham, Sharp, Walker. Those guys I'm all avoiding there. But yeah, I mean, if this is game, don't overthink this game. It's the one game that's not going to be a blowout. So pay up for these guys. From Wembanyama down to Dorian Finney-Smith. These guys are all in play. If you want to check out what we have them projected at, go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, and it's under the NBA tab, and it's under NBA DFS player projections for FTA+. Then we get to the final game, Atlanta versus the Clippers, in what could be potentially a blowout as well by 12.5. Harden is questionable. Hasn't played the last 2 games, day to day, especially if this is a blowout. Paying up $8,800 for him, probably setting your money on fire there. There's no real reason to push him, especially if he's not 100% healthy with that. And it could be a blowout. I'm a little bit weary of that. But we got Kawhi Leonard back. We got Paul George. We got Jalen Johnson. These guys I'm all looking forward to. Value-wise, I'm looking at Norman Powell. If he plays, he's questionable right now. Terrence Mann, I don't mind him. Bones Highland. So if we just kind of look at Bones Highland, been doing pretty good. Especially if James Harden stays out. Obviously, again, Chicago put 50.75, played 32 minutes, the highest he's played. But if this is a blowout like they think it is, Bones could see 30 minutes in this game. I think he's in store for a big game here. He is 5,000, so he has gone up in price. It's the only caveat on this one. Bruno Fernando, just depending. He's been okay at 4,400. Kind of past 2 games hasn't hit value, but I mean, again, you got to get creative in a day like this. Amir Coffey, just depending. Not been too bad at his price. 3,700 Amir Coffey makes sense for me. We've used Vit a couple of times. We used him when he did 1,700 or 1,700 when he did 17 fantasy points. Again, not enough at like 3,800. And then you got 29 minutes against Utah, 7 fantasy points. This is ridiculous. He played 29 minutes at 7 fantasy points. So that's probably where I'm going. I mean, if it is a blowout, you got to kind of factor in if you think the Clippers are going to go up double digits, then what players are going to be the ones that come off the bench? So that's where you got to dig in a little bit. You got to look at it. And that's why some of our projections, it shows their DVP and their projections from their floor, ceiling, and average in their last 5 games. So you can kind of see the current trend of certain players that are going there. Okay, so regardless of games, regardless of what's going on there, we are going to be looking at building a lineup here. So this is one way to build a lineup, not the only way to build a lineup, but just kind of looking at a point guard. So we can do fantasy points allowed by position, which that's 1, 2, like, so you can let Washington gives up an average of 54.6 fantasy points. Okay. So then we look, that's Boston, but then Derek White is out. So Drew Holiday's in good spot. So if we look at Drew Holiday, he has 30th DVP, so he's got a great matchup there. But if it's a huge blowout and it's not Drew Holiday, is it Peyton Pritchard? Game log, 19 minutes, hasn't really done a ton, but if it is a blowout, Peyton Pritchard could be that dude. Drew Holiday at 6,600, you're paying 2,000 more, but he's in a good spot here. The only thing that scares me is a blowout, but we're going to throw him in there as of now. We might mix and match. We might change it up, possibly. We will see. So looking at shooting guard, DVP-wise, Devin Vassell is 23rd DVP. Cam Thomas is 29th. Bogdan Bojanovic is 26th. Dennis Schroeder is 27th. So depending on what you want to look at, you've got all those guys. Dennis Schroeder is 6,400. He's the cheapest of them. Game log wise, though, at 6,400, he has not done much. That's the problem. If you're looking for a value in shooting guard that you could pay down for, Bilal, been pretty good. 3 straight games of 30 plus minutes, 26 plus fantasy points. He is 5,200. I don't mind him, especially if it's going to be a blowout. I think Bilal could be in store for an increased minutes and usage here if they are getting blown out 100%. Moving to the small forward, we could use this tool. We can use the other tool. Doesn't matter. So we look at this. Washington gives up 50.3 fantasy points. So that's a Boston. Tatum might be out. Brown might be out. Sam Hauser. So Sam Hauser could be in store. The minutes have been there. If it is a blow, you could see the minutes. It was a blowout there, double digit, played 34 minutes. Huge blowout here, played 32 minutes, got 33 and 31. So Sam Hauser is going to be that dude. Again, 4 games. You got to get a little crazy. You got to find those plays that you feel confident about. So we go out of here. We look at the kind of DVP. So in a game that's supposed to be close, Sokin and Al Horford. Al Horford I'm not a big fan of. So we look at him. Now, this is what I tell people. So do not follow DraftKings or FanDuel with these rankings because this shows second. So you're like, oh, he's got a bad matchup. But his DVP is actually 29th against Brooklyn in a game that is supposed to be a 1-point spread and a close game that could play the entire time. You got Jeremy here with his hair. We look at game logs, 3 straight 30-plus games. The minutes have been there in a game that could be closer. I could see more minutes in this. So I'm going to lock him in right there. Now we're still averaging 6,800 throughout center, guard, forward, and utility. So just kind of looking at centers. I think you need to put Wemby in here. I think you do. So we go center, depending. You've got Nick Claxton's got 27 DVP. So yeah, San Antonio gives up a ton of points to the center. So if you want to go with that instance, Nick Claxton could be there. So this might be one of those lineups where we don't get Wemby in there, but we'll see what we can do. So if we were to just, let's go put Wembanyama at utility, we average 5,200 for a guard and a forward. So just kind of looking, let's go 5,200, and we can find those value plays that we were talking about earlier if they jump up, like a Peyton Pritchard. So Peyton Pritchard, let's see what he is. Point guard wise, Peyton Pritchard, DVP, were the best DVP. Again, though, it's Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard. It's going to be Bones Highlands, one that jumps out to me. Looking at Bones Highlands, got 24 DVP against Atlanta in a game where it might be a blowout. I'm going to throw him in there. Now, our forward could be 5,400 or below. So, Norman Powell down. Is he questionable? So, he was in crutches after the game. So, he's probably not going to play. Probably. So, we just be looking at Grady Dick here. So, if we look at Grady Dick, looking at him, his DVP's third. So, it's not the best DVP. Hasn't had a couple of bad games. The minutes have been there. So, I'm probably not on him much. Amir Coffey is another one. That could be a sneaky one at 3,700. So, if you put Amir Coffey in there at 3,700, just for instance, or no, it was McDaniels. That 3,600, Jalen McDaniels. So I'm going to look at him. Small forward, power forward. So we look at Jalen Daniels or McDaniels. Not the best matchup. It's first DVP against him. But then if we do this, look what we can do. 1,800 somewhere. So we, in my mind, where are we going with that? Are we going with, do we want to look at centers? Do we want to look at 8,600 just to see? We can afford everybody. Kyle Kuzma. We could be looking at him at 8,400. We could be looking at, it's any center. So you put him at 8,400. There we go. But it just depends because he doesn't have the best matchup for centers. But he's there. Okay? So this is one lineup. This is one way to build a lineup, not the only way to build a lineup. So that's what I've got in this video. If you have questions, get those down below. Get your comment down below so you have a chance to win. We had 47 likes on yesterday's video, almost 50. 44 likes on yesterday's video. Almost 50, almost had a giveaway. We're trying to give free stuff away. So if you like the video, you got to leave a comment. We had 46 likes or 44 likes and only 6 comments. So let's get the comments up. Let's help that algorithm. Let's get us going in the right direction before baseball season. So that's what I've got in this video. Good luck on this Sunday slate. Maybe take it easy. Maybe play some NASCAR. But yeah, so good luck today, everybody. Let's bring up some bacon. Peace.